Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube universe, what is going on with you on this Thursday? It is Thursday, January 12th, 2023, 7:34 p.m. California time. I am, of course, your always gracious host, Fallon from GoNootropics.com, coming at you with the late night green tea chairs. Good to see you guys. We are cracking through your screen with another video. Hope you all are doing well. Today is indeed Thursday, and we are cruising along. Today went to work, still cogging it out, like many of you going to work, cogging it out, coming home after a long day in the factory, right? And just relaxing. So we've been watching a couple of these shows on TV. One of them, Intervention. The other of them, Hoarders. I don't know if you guys have seen these shows. In particular, Hoarders. Very interesting show. These hoarders. There's something about the hoarder that you can't keep your eyes off of them. It's engaging. You're looking at this person on the TV screen. And I've met a couple hoarders. Obviously, they're not as bad as how they are on the TV shows. But some of them get pretty bad. And hoarders, if you don't know, are people who they collect things. And it's not just the collection of the things that's the disease. It's their inability to, once they get the thing, to get rid of it. They can't throw anything away, baby. These hoarders, they take something in, they absorb something in, and they can't throw it away, even if it's obvious trash. They cannot throw this thing away. And you're watching this show, and I've had experiences cleaning up people's houses, moving, mothers of friends and moving their mom or something, or moving one of their relatives. And the moving process is very slow and arduous because every little thing in the house you can't touch because, part of moving, at least how I see it, is when I move, I look through all my stuff, and the first thing I'm excited to do is just ask myself, what part of this shit can I throw away, baby? What can I just throw into the dumpster? When I move, that's what I'm looking for. I want to know how much of this is just crap that I don't need to take into the new place. But moving a hoarder, you'll see them, to and fro and just fritter back and forth, analyzing certain items. You're about to throw something that's obvious trash away, and they're like, no, that's important. That got passed down from, such and such. I might be able to use this for blah, blah, blah. And you start to realize here is a person who can't let go, baby. This is a person, something has happened, right? And this is part of the show as they bring in the psychologist. And it's the same story, it's the same story with the hoarder. It's the same story with the addicts. Something happens, right? Something traumatizing happens in their life. And it manifested as this condition, this inability to throw something away. Usually in the case of the hoarder, they lost somebody important to them. Somebody died, a daughter or a son or somebody that they really cared about. And now they've caught this condition, right? Now everything, they're so afraid of losing everything that they just keep everything around. In the show, it mostly seems to be women affected by the hoarding condition, although there are men. But seeing the show, it seems like women hoard for different reasons than men do. It seems like the men, their house reaches that state because Men become lazy, men become reclusive. It's less emotional and just more depressive. It's like they probably want to get rid of all the crap, but they don't have the energy to get rid of it. It's not like they're trying to amass all these things. They want to get rid of it most of the time. It's just they lack the resources to get rid of it. They don't seem so much as attached to the items as the women do. The women hoard, and they have a very hard time getting rid of all the little things, and it's this really deep psychological problem. They lost somebody. We're watching Intervention, which is also a good show. And, you watch enough of these episodes and you start to see the emerging pattern, the overarching pattern of these people. And some of them are alcoholics, some of them are heroin addicts. It's all the same. You're self-medicating. They're self-medicating. Something happened, daddy wasn't around, or the father was an alcoholic, something happened, right? So if you're in this space of self-medicating, well, you got to figure out what happened, right? What happened? What happened to you? Why are you numbing out? You got to fix it. You got to fix it, right? Or else you're going to end up on one of these shows. You're going to end up, I'm going to see you on Hoarders. Look, you may see me on Hoarders one day. Who knows? Or you might see me on one of these episodes and be, oh, that's Fallon from GoNootropics.com, baby. He's really let himself go. So these shows are interesting, but I try to see the pattern, so I don't go down that road, right? Because there's been moments in my life where, you watch these things and you're like, oh, that could never happen to me. Well, yes, it can. Yes, it can. You watch these shows, somebody snaps, right? And you're like, oh, that'll never happen to me. Or you look at, the Nazis of World War II, and you'd say, oh, well, that wouldn't have happened to me. But it's like, yes, it would. If the same amount of pressure was applied on you and you grew up in the same environment with the same type of programming, experiencing the same stressors, yes, it would. You were not above these people. I'm not above these people. The dude that snaps in the store. If the right amount of pressure is applied to you, you'll react in a similar way, unless you're very conscious and self-aware that, you're going down this path and maintaining the garden of your life and picking the weeds so it doesn't get to that point, because if it gets to that point and you don't catch these things early on, it's like preventative medicine. What do we do here in the West? Everything is, well, what do we do after the shit has hit the fan? What kind of pills do we prescribe after the shit has hit the fan? It's never preventative medicine. It's never, well, we see this small problem happening and manifesting. Let's work on resolving some of these issues so it doesn't grow out of control, right? It's like, don't let the fire get so raging in your life. Don't let it get so out of control, or else you will be that hoarder, And it's very easy to just let the waters of life wash over you. And, you're just kind of coasting along. You're coasting along. It's like, yeah, the river might not be moving that fast now, but it's picking up speed, right? Don't the river of life pick up speed, baby, pretty fast. And the next thing you know, you're in like level 2 rapid, level 3 rapids. And now the water's moving so fast, you're helpless. And this is where the intervention comes. Next thing you know, the cameras are shoved in your face. Your whole family's around you, like, what's going on? And that's the funny part of that show. Is the premise of the show is these people, they think they're just being interviewed for their addiction. They don't know it's an intervention until the very end, when the family comes in And the crew is there, the camera crew. Mom's crying, dad's crying, sister's crying, threatening you with taking the nephew away. And like, so you know, you're in the rapids, baby. And the cameras are shoved in your face. And, you know, that's a big problem with drugs. And even something I would say is benign as kratom is even kratom, while fairly benign, will place you into a mental state where you really don't notice how fast the water's moving. You know, you just really don't notice the infection that is beginning to take root in your life because things are just okay, right? Things are mediocre. And the kratom numbs you out just enough to where the passage of the river is manageable and even palatable, right? And yeah, nobody's going to intervene with kratom. But, you know, kratom will put you into a place where you might ignore the debt that you have, might ignore some of these small problems. You might brush it under the rug. It allows you to brush certain things under the rug. Certain behaviors that you have that are really going to compound over time and put you in a place maybe where the cameras don't show up. But one day, you know, the problems mount to a point where you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it anymore. So people say, you know what, that's never going to be me. Well, yes, it can be, unless you get on it early. Unless you got to get the jump on these things, or you will become the hoarder, right? You don't solve what happened to you in your past. You don't deal with that. You don't face it. Well, you will become one of these people, and maybe you don't get the help you need, right? Maybe you push away everybody that loves you, and there are no cameras. There is nobody coming to save you, right? So what about that? What about that? So the river moves, my friends. The river moves. Fallon, go nootropics.com. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I will see you very soon. Peace.